Det är rätt sjukt, den här balanspunkten som är på bilen just nu. Med motorn i så ligger den och balanserar där. Alltså precis över domkraftsfästena liksom. Och om jag bara så här trycker jag så bara Gung. Helt stört. Yeah, welcome back guys. The work goes on. Still some work on the rear suspension. We're doing rear suspension as in pushrod. So my thought is to have pushrod cantilever sitting about here, rocking in sort of this motion, some sort of pickup for the bottom of the suspension, and yeah, so we have some basic knowledge how it's gonna work. So I've done some basic measurements on the damper, how long the stroke of the damper is, and then I calculated that it has to be around 60 millimeters of this distance between the rocker arm, like up and down side. So we're gonna make 2 of these, just basically weld them together, just have some nuts and bolts, nothing really special, just to have something to use as a mock-up. We're gonna do some welds on the suspension itself. So we're gonna do some maybe some pipes from here going over to this side, just so we can just put the cantilever so we can use the right setup of the suspension. I'll show you everything. Next one is done as well. This should line up pretty good with this one. Yeah, really good. So I'm gonna weld this together, just tack them together, or maybe use like some sort of pliers to make them hold together when I drill all the holes so they're perfectly matched. And then I'm just gonna smoothen it out so all it's even, and then everything is gonna be easier to install later. now both are ready. We welded them together, we drilled them. Just gonna take it apart. Too much weld. Yeah, some. Yeah, there we have it. So the pusher is going to come from this side up, pushes on this one, cantilevers around this one, then pushes the damper down this way. Oh yeah, it's Friday morning. I'm having some. I got to get some help from some of our friends today. Nicholas, Turbo Brick, Carl Winberg Racing, and Martin Andersson. He's going to help me work on my car. We're gonna do as much stuff we can do. I think me and Nicholas is going to do the rear suspension, and then I think that Martin and Carl is gonna start with 850, cutting everything out of it and doing stuff like that. And so in preparation I did some small stuff to the cantilevers. I showed you before this, but this is wrong. So I got my basics in trigonometry. Yes, that. And basic in rocker arm suspension, how it's supposed to work and all the angles. So this is wrong. It's like 45 degrees wrong. It's going to be very bad if we use this one. And then also have some pictures that I've stolen from YouTube. This is from Andrew Hawkins when he did Tilton Evo. So it's like only basic stuff, so we can see how they did with the attachment points for like main roll cage stuff, and also how they tied in the strut towers and stuff. We have really big beams that we're going to use to put the body on the table, and then also some basic stuff we need. You cut everything apart. New lowering cylinder from the bandsaw, because I've been holding the bandsaw by hand, lowering it, because the lowering cylinder that I ordered wasn't due until now. So I got it yesterday. So I think the guys is going to be here in maybe an hour or something. Going to start with taking the engine, everything out of the car, and someone was going to start working with rear suspension. Yeah, it's gonna be a very, very busy day, and I hope we're gonna get a lot of things done. So yeah, let's get to it. So when I bought the bandsaw, it was some parts that were bad and some parts that was really bad, and the lowering cylinder to lower the sawing, you have to lower the saw when it's sawing, was really bad. So this is cracked. I think someone has dropped something on it because it's really bad. And then this is the new one approved. Really nice. Let's put it on there. So I just wanted to show you what I mean by referring to rockers as bad. This is the first one I did, and as you can see, the cantilever movement on the rocker itself is almost falling away from the damper when it's fully compressed. This is called a digressive motion, and that's going to make the spring rate on the wheel softer because it's moving past 90 degrees from the center pivot point on the rocker to the damper attachment. Technically, the car could fall to the ground by itself because the spring rates get softer and softer as it moves away from the spring. So what you want to do instead is to have the pivot point on the rocker perpendicular to the damper attachment. That means that the center of the rocker and the damper are 90 degrees at full compression. That also means that the motion of the rocker is progressive all the way to the bump stop. And the same thing goes for the pushrod side of the rocker. Using a square and a steel ruler, we can see the perpendicular faces of the rocker attachment points. Here you can see on the pushrod side with the square, and the ruler extends down to the attachment point of the upright. And here it's the same thing but on the damper side of the rocker. Alright, this is a mock-up of the first correct geometry, and here is the motion much better than the first one. So now that we have some idea about our pushrod suspension, we can go ahead and cut away all the stuff we don't need in the Volvo. This is a picture from our rulebook. The red part is the stuff we need to have on the car, and we can only do some small modifications to it. The green part can go away, but it still needs to resemble the car that it was built on, which means it still has to look like a Volvo, and that's what we intend to do also. We're going to cut everything behind the main hoop in the car and replace it with a tube frame chassis that sits inside the bodywork and attaches to the main hoop. So while we were doing all the suspension stuff, Carl Winberg went hard to work on cutting it all out.